listen to music, but if you do, what's on your playlist? What motivates you music-wise?
My playlist is really random and varied. I mean, I like a lot of R&B. I like Rihanna. I like, some days I could have like a random. I mean, I always put my iPod on shuffle, and it's got so much on it. Metallica could pop up, or I could have like Dave Matthews. Yeah, I mean, it's really varied. But, before a race, generally it's more like, I like Rihanna, I like Usher, I like with something with a good beat that I can kind of get into. And then, sometimes I also like, Linkin Park, or a little bit more heavy and angry music. Depends on the race and depends on my mood. But, yeah, I definitely like to get some song like that in my head before the race, because I feel like it helps me during the race if my mind starts to wander.
How important is it to get out of the water at the same time as somebody else in Kona and get to like that pack if it's a non-draft race?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I mean, this past year I had the swim of my life in Kona. I got out with girls that usually put a minute and a half into me in a half Ironman. So that definitely set me up for an amazing day. But having said that, the women's race is not like the men's race. There's not a pack. I mean, I hopped out of the water with maybe 4 or 5 girls, but out on Harvey there was myself and Leander, and then Leander was gone, and then it was just me. And then, I mean, if a girl comes past me, she comes past me and she's gone. It's not like the guys race so much. So yeah, I think it is important to get you off on the right foot. And I definitely will be doing everything I can to get out in a similar position to what I was last year, because I think it set me up for the day. Even in terms of just confidence, I was out in front of, I've spent my whole life chasing. So I'm 2 minutes down or 4 minutes down. Okay, I've got to use that much energy to catch up to, whoever. And in Kona last year, I was out with the girls. I mean, Julie and I think one other girl, can't think of her name, Rachel Joyce, were the only 2 ahead of us out of the water. So all of a sudden I'm 4 minutes, I don't have to waste 4 minutes of energy. So trying to catch up. So obviously it's really important, because I don't think the swim takes anywhere. It's almost like, it doesn't take anything out of you, I don't think. I mean, I feel like you get out of the water and it's like, okay, well, I'll just give you 2 minutes and then I'll chase you down on the bike and run. So yeah, it's super important to get out with, as many of the key athletes, or as close to the front as possible. I'm never going to be the fastest swimmer in a race. I'm always going to have to chase down, but I need to limit the damage as much as possible in the swim, and then on the bike, and then hopefully not run out of road on the run to catch up. Yeah.
Thanks again for taking the time to come here. We really appreciate it. But also, you and Chrissy, I've watched a bunch of interviews and articles with the 2 of you. Would you say more competitors or comrades?
Competitors. No, I have a lot of respect for Chrissy, obviously, but yeah, she's not really a friend of mine. I think it's better that way.
All right, you're definitely a world-class athlete. I'm just wondering, congratulations on winning the race. What did you feel that day? What was going through your mind?
You're so in the moment when you're having one of those days when you're on that, like a million things and nothing. I hop out of the water and I'm in that position. I think I had a smile on my face, first of all the way through transition, hopping onto my bike. So I'm looking around, I see Leander Cave, I see Dee Dee, I see swimmers. I'm not a swimmer. And so I was like really excited when I hopped out of the water and got on the bike, but you've got 112 miles. Actually, the funniest thing I heard coming out of transition off the bike was hop on the bike and someone yells out, "You got this. This is your race." I want to say, are you serious? Do you know what we have to do? Do you know what's in store for us for the rest of the day? Yeah, I wanted to punch that person in the head. But no, I mean, yeah, like you're basically trying to figure out, am I eating too much? Am I eating enough? What's next? What do I need to take next? Okay, it's an hour into the bike. I should have consumed this much. How am I feeling? Is my stomach bloated? How much time have I given up to Julie? what position am I in. It's just like you're constantly going through all the checklist, and I think that helps you keep you in the moment. And obviously, you know, you're like, okay, am I going too hard? Am I getting as much out of myself as possible without compromising the back end of the race? So there are a lot of things going through your mind. Then you might see your mum, hey mum, and then you're back into it. But I mean, I got off the bike and I was in a good position. Julie was only, 12 minutes ahead, and I was hoping to have it within 15 minutes. So I was pretty excited, but at the same time, it's still a marathon ahead, and tons of athletes have melted down out there in those lava fields, and some of the best athletes and most amazing athletes in the world. You go no further than Paula Newby-Fraser in her 6th or 7th attempt at the win, and she's walking down Lee Drive. I mean, you never know. So, while in Kona I thought I was in a good position to maybe win the race at the start of the run, I was not taking any chances, and I was making sure that every aid station I was taking on the water, keeping my body cool, my gels. I think the whole race you're kind of going through a checklist of all of those things. There's so many factors in an Ironman.
Hi, thanks again for coming. I had a quick question about if you had any thoughts on moving to the Olympics, stepping down and competing at the Olympics.
I think the Olympics was a childhood dream of mine, and it's something that I sometimes think about, but Ironman's my passion. Long distance racing, half Ironman racing, it's my passion. And yeah, I'd love to go and race in the Olympics. I'd love to experience an Olympics, but I'm from Australia, and it's not easy to get in that team. We've got some of the Australian women aren't going that great right now, but we've got some, obviously, Emma Snowsill, Emma Moffat, two of the last year's best ITU athletes in the world. And there's only 3 spots. But beyond that, I think the thing that sort of turns me off it is that I'd have to basically go tour the world, racing, race to race, hunting points so that I could get a start on the start line with those girls. And you're exhausted by the time you get to the start line. Then, you have to basically base in Europe because there's no races in the US, and the US is my home. I mean, I'm not getting any younger, and you get to a point where you don't want to travel. I mean, I've done that. I've traveled the world. I've traveled through Europe. I've lived through it in a suitcase for so long, and it's nice now to have a home that I can go back to, and I go and do a weekend race, and I'm back home on Monday or I'm back home on Tuesday. So, in order to go to the Olympics, I think I would have to give up so much. And then I look at what Ironman has given me, and I love the sport. I love Ironman. I love racing in Kona. I don't love Ironman. I wouldn't do a lot of them, but I love racing in Kona. And I love racing 70.3s in the US, and 35Ks a week and running, probably about the same, but it would just be a complete shift in what I love about the sport. So I think it might be too much to give up, but that being said, I'm 30. Maybe in 5-6 years, while I've had 5-6 years to live at home and be comfortable, maybe I'll be ready to step up and go have a go at the Olympics. But until then, I'm pretty happy just doing this.
Hi. So I was just lucky enough to do grad school at CU, and I was wondering what some of your favorite runs and rides were around Boulder.
Around Boulder, I don't do anything too crazy. I run around like Eagle Trail a lot. I liked running around that trail. I also love the trail, not Trail Ridge. I don't even know the name of the trail, but up past Wonderland Lake along the 36 on the foothills there. And then a favourite ride for I think most triathletes is just to ride up to Jamestown. It's like probably a 30 mile ride from home. It's a probably 8-mile climb. It's really pretty, really calm, really quiet. It's usually like a recovery ride that we all do in the afternoon or on an easy day. So, but my favourite ride is to go Carter Lake up Big Thompson to Estes Park and then back home. It's about a 100-mile ride through the Rocky Mountain. It's spectacular.
Hi, quick question. In your preparation for the swimming, do you find yourself more in the pool or open water?
More in the pool. I live in, well, when we're in Australia, we try to swim open water once a week. And obviously you can swim open water more, but I'm scared of sharks. So I don't like to swim out there by myself. And then I'm in Boulder, and you can only really swim in the reservoir. And I think they've just opened up master sessions at the reservoir the last week. So only when it's warm enough, for only so a couple of months a year. Yeah. But I just like, I guess I'm a slave to the clock. I like to get in there and get my session done and know I've done a really hard session. When I'm in the open water, I don't know, you just go and swim. It's almost like going for a tempo run. I mean, I like to run on the treadmill too because it's similar reasons. I'm forced into a pace and I have to hold that pace, and I know I've gotten a good session. Open water is obviously really important. If you're uncomfortable in the open water, then it's invaluable to go out there and spend time, but for me, I mean, I'm mostly pool swimmer.
How many times a week do you swim?
I usually try to swim 6 times a week, but 2 of those sessions, like one of them's definitely a 2K session, one of them might be a 3K session, so yeah, sometimes it's a recovery swim after a hard run, so I get in the water 6 days of the week.
Do you feel that you're putting more pressure on yourself to defend your title at Kona than you put on yourself to win Kona?
I think the most pressure I felt was 30 minutes before the race last year when I found out Chrissy wasn't racing. But I mean, I've already won. I won the biggest race in the world in triathlon, and other than obviously Olympic gold medal, I think that's slightly better because it's every 4 years, but I'm 30 years old and I've won an Ironman world title. I think I'm pretty stoked with that. I think the hard thing about defending is that after you win that race, you're in demand. So you can't just focus on your training. You can't just hide away and do your own thing. They're all, you get a lot of great opportunities that come up from it, but you need to, and obviously I want to take those opportunities when they come up. I mean, I might never win the race again. I hope to win the race many more times, but I may never win it again. So when great opportunities come up from a performance like that, you need to take them, and that means sometimes training's a little bit on the back burner, which is hard. I mean, because you're expected, you're the world champion, you're supposed to walk into any race and win, right? It doesn't work like that, and every race is a battle. There's tons of girls out there who'd love to be in my shoes and who'd love to beat my ass. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be pressure going into this Kona, but I think every year there's pressure. Yeah, I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's going to be another tough year, and I'll just try and see what I can do this year.
Have you ever quit in a race? And if so, what went through your mind?
I'm sure I have. I can't think of one. I put it out of my mind probably. Actually, early on when I started doing the sport, when I started doing ITU racing, I was probably a little too young to do a World Cup, and they put me into a World Cup, and I'm a crap swimmer. And I got out like 4 minutes behind the lead girls, and the lead girls were like Barb Lindquist, Sheila Turamina, Loretta Harrop, and those girls are tough, and they will crush the bike. And so I'm like 22 years old, can't swim, hop out of the water, no one around me. My bike's in transition by itself. Hop on the bike, and it's multi-lap, and if you get lapped, you're out. And I was lapped by those girls, and that was one of the most embarrassing and horrible moments of my whole career, being told that, sorry, you can't finish, you're not good enough. But at the same time, I think that having that happen to me made me realise, okay, if I want to do this, then I need to seriously improve, and I need to do this and this, and that forced me to become the athlete that I am today. I mean, I think that's the best way to learn, sink or swim, and I'd certainly sank to start with, but I think I'm swimming all right now.